Welcome to The Hub, where the travel industry is together under one roof. I'm Pat Miller, the host of The Hub and the co-founder, and my other co-founder, Tom Brousseau, will bring him in a minute, as well as Danielle Whitmore, who's in charge of our destination communities. And we are chock full of Hub stars today. We brought out all the stops for this special edition because we are talking about our dear friends, our suppliers, and we are invested in helping them be successful because unlike just about every place else, suppliers and agents are collaborating under one roof here at the Hub. So on the show today, we're going to take some time and show you the Hub in case you're not familiar with it. And then we want to talk with you and hear how we can get more bookings in Las Vegas, or we can fill more cabins on cruises, or whatever your supply is. We want you to move more of it. So we brought in our expert travel agents. We have our leaders here at the Hub. We want to hear how we can help you. And we wouldn't be very prepared if we didn't have some ideas that we could put in front of you as well. But to start the show, let's bring the man on for just a minute. Tom Brousseau, co-founder of the Hub, travel agent extraordinaire. Tom, how are you this afternoon?
Hey, Pat. I am fantastic. Hello, everybody. Thank you for taking the time on this beautiful Wednesday to be with us. So the Hub this week is exactly 1 month old. And we thought that would be a fantastic time really to touch bases and connect with our supplier partners and friends, just to get a sense and better understand how are things going for you. You know, what are the pain points? What are the concerns? What are the opportunities that are out there? And how can we as the Hub put our collective resources together to work on each of those things? How can we develop the right strategies and tactics and communication to make sure that our supplier partners' voice is being heard? So that's what today is all about. We are going to share with you, as Pat mentioned, some ideas and things that we've got cooking on the Hub. I know for a few of you, this is your first time here, and a good opportunity to get a little bit acclimated. You know, thanks to Sandy Anderson, Kim Goldstein, and Tom Varghese for being here. There are Hubstar agents that really are the big drivers of our agent strategy from that standpoint. So let's get started with the show, sir.
Absolutely. So the first thing we want to do, because it's the first time for some of you looking at us, which I'm sorry about this, I'm working with what I got, but I do want to show you the pretty part, which is what the Hub looks like. So when we decided to start the Hub, we had a challenge. There are a million Facebook groups out there, but the challenge with Facebook is you're one click away from your conversation going public. That's not a thing. The other thing is it's really tough to own something on Facebook because no matter how hard you try, you don't own it. So the combination of it's really close to the general public and we really didn't have true control over what we and you and our agents were doing, that's why we migrated to a separate platform. It's called Mighty Networks, in case you're interested. And that's the foundation of the Hub. But Mighty Networks is incredibly powerful, and I'm going to show it to you here right now. What Mighty Networks offers us is a place to have private conversations, have a social media style feed, have an unlimited number of events, and then sub-communities beneath the overall community. And that's where Danielle is really leading the mission. We'll have her talk about it in just a minute. So let's just do a quick overview. This is the Hub Social Network, and it's just like it sounds. We have polls going on. So today we're polling everybody in there. How confident are you that travelers will return by this winter? And these are the answers so far from the agents and suppliers that have answered. And then they're explaining why they feel that way and having a conversation about it. We're doing live events like this and we're recording them. So if this felt like we started a little baby TV show, it's because that's how I think about it. With 20 some odd years in broadcasting history, this is what I did in my first life. Now this is my second life. So that's why we record them like little TV shows. So when people watch them after, they make sense rather than just walking in on some conference room full of a conversation. So we post all of that in here. We have daily posts. We have topics. All of our conversations are broken into topics, from welcoming new members, asking a question, question of the week, challenges, wins, and then the vault. Like I mentioned, this is where all the little TV shows go. So this morning we were talking to Kevin Fremming and Playa, and we can go in here and search Playa and we would pull up his recording. So if we're searching for destinations or suppliers or agents in the future, we can come in and search and see that stuff in the future, which is a great way for the vault and the hub to be more valuable as time goes on. As far as events are concerned, right now we're just starting, but we have 2 events that happen every week. We do a show called the Hub Morning Show, where I interview agents and suppliers, little half-hour show, learn a little bit about a destination, talk about some roadblocks our agents are facing, collaborate a little bit, in and out. Then on Thursdays, we have the Travel Think Tank, which is a more in-depth workshop style show, which centers on our mission right now. And Tom, I'm going to bounce it back to you. Our mission right now, which is the path to prosperity. Because if Tom and I were just out to make a buck, we wouldn't really care if anyone was successful. But that's not at all what we're doing. We want everyone under one roof, and we want everyone to get back to where we should be. So, Tom, can you talk about the path to prosperity? Because it's something that we're focusing on now, at least in the month of September and moving forward.
Sure. So the path to prosperity really is our mission. It really does allow us to live the mission of the hub. And the thought process is that, you know, there's a ton of webinars, there's a ton of content and information, there's articles galore and opinions galore on the travel trade media. But one piece that I felt was missing, and you know, generally missing industry wide, was how are we converting that information into strategies and actionable tactics? Essentially, what are we as agents and suppliers, what are we actually doing with all of that information, with all that data? And so each Thursday on the think tank, what we're doing is we're workshopping through a specific topic, and you know, a topic that is meaningful to how we get back on the path to prosperity. So for example, you know, what is the marketplace assessment? You know, how are consumers feeling? How are agents feeling? Are people ready to travel? And better understanding that and having some consensus. You know, one of the key things that we all agree upon is that we have to rebuild consumer trust and confidence, right? Well, that's a great talking point. That's a great PowerPoint slide, but no one's providing the how. And so what we're trying to do is brainstorm through and put our collective energies together to understand and execute the how. And so that's what we're going to do on the think tank. That's how the path to prosperity works. We're going to come up with lots of creative solutions and ideas and really cool stuff that hasn't been thought of yet, hasn't been executed yet, and we're going to put that to work. And we as the hub are going to build the plan. We're going to manage the plan. We're going to reach out to external resources where needed, coordinate with suppliers and agents to execute key parts of that plan. So as this goes forward, starting really last week was one of our key sessions, and tomorrow we have another. You'll see the path to prosperity really take on a life, and it's not a bunch of general PowerPoint thoughts and opinions. It's actionable strategies and tactics that we can all utilize in our businesses, and that's the key.
And we're really excited about it. The other thing that we're doing is we're asking folks when they come in, what is their area of specialty, so you can connect with others that are of like mind or like specialty. And then another big differentiator for us would be the groups. So let's have Danielle come on. Danielle, can you talk a little bit about our destination communities and our group strategy in general, about how we're going to allow folks the chance to get together and learn more about specific areas of content?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this portion of the platform, and I think it is a great place and tool as a group to for this to almost be a virtual sales territory. This is a community and a group that will, you know, have a lead stakeholder in the group, whether it's a destination lead or a group of hoteliers or a DMC, but really focused on a destination specifically or a region, a supply region specifically. So this will be a place to specifically talk about, share information, resources about a specific area. Here are the topics. So we're starting with Costa Rica, and we've come a long way, and we've met with some hotel suppliers who are really interested. James Taylor from Central America, from CAT Tours, Central American Tours, who's on the call, is really taking the lead as a stakeholder, advancing and building out this group. We are planning, which is really going to be fun and exciting. This will be, we're planning a launch of the destination group community. And with that launch, we'll have a week where we'll feature elevated content sharing, announcing all of the supplier participants in the hub, and some other fun activities and giveaways during the week. So really, I see this as a place within the hub platform to really it's almost like your virtual sales territory. So I would treat it as a supplier and connect with agents as you would in person on the road. It's a place where you can have events, and you know, I think it will be a while before in-person type events or sales calls may come back. I guess I'll defer to the agents and the suppliers to talk a little bit more about that. But in the meantime, this is a place where you could hold different types of events, fun events. They could be quick, short events with just talking about an announcement or a presentation or a live segment, or we can utilize some of the resources where Pat can facilitate a dedicated show or podcast or something here. So there's lots of creativity that can be done on a specific topic in this sub community. So as we're working in them, we're fleshing out and finding more and more opportunity and creativity and getting the agents and supply engaged directly on a specific topic and or region.
And the way that we think about it, imagine that the hub is a shopping mall. Each one of these groups is like a store inside the shopping mall. So you can be a part of what we're doing, but have a reserved area just for you. And the way that our events are going to stack is every week we're going to have top level events for the hub, but we're looking for each community to host one weekly event that we can all participate in. So we're talking with James Taylor in Costa Rica about having a weekly coffee event because it's so special in Costa Rica that we would have a coffee event once a week. And that's the chance, almost like walking through Epcot, where you'd get a chance to visit Costa Rica each week. We'd stop and have coffee with James and learn what's going on in Costa Rica, in addition to all the great stuff that's happening in the group. Now, Tom, you had something you wanted to share?
I'm sure. I just want to point out, you know, this great program that Danielle and James have been working on. From a supplier perspective, it really does a couple of key things. Number one is that this is a home, a platform, and an opportunity for any supplier of any size that is related to the travel industry. So a large multi location chain resort, or the smallest boutique hotel in Arnall, or a tour company, or a golf course. All of them are welcome here, and it gives them a place really to connect with agents, with the top agents, a place to tell their story, and you know, a place to actively market in a very creative way. And from the agent standpoint, you know, this is because if you're in the business of Costa Rica, if you want to be in the business of Costa Rica, you will find content and information in our destination communities that you absolutely cannot find anywhere else. And you'll also find other agents who love Costa Rica and want to collaborate or want to share ideas about how to sell more Costa Rica. And going down the line as we go, the same goes for the next destination communities that are slated to be built. And we have about 5 of them committed and in the hopper. And Danielle and James are doing such a great job of scoping out what a destination community looks like, that once we go, we'll have a turnkey opportunity and a playbook for how these destination communities are built and executed. So I think this is a huge differentiator on the hub for both suppliers and agents.
And what will happen, to be candid, some suppliers, and maybe this isn't for you, but some suppliers will get it right away, grab a group and start soaking up members to enjoy their brand before their competitors do. Someone's going to take the lead on this, so it's an opportunity for you to consider. And we're going to keep on adding destinations and suppliers because our scale is unlimited. The bigger we get, the better we get, because then more information is in one place and it's not competing with the overall feed of the Hub social network because, gee, let me go here to the group and see everything I want to see about Las Vegas. Oh, wait, where's the Oh. Well, you'd go here and you would see something on Las Vegas. If we had one of those Las Vegas groups, it would be right there. So we're kind of excited about building this out, and we can definitely share more as we move on. So we have this organization, we have events, we have the social media feed. we have the groups. But then the real differentiator for us, it's the people. Danielle with all of her experience, Tom with his experience, and we've gotten so many great hub stars behind us. That's our all-star travel agents, the real leaders in the industry. So why don't we hear a little bit from them real quick, and then we're going to turn the conversation over to the suppliers on the call, because we really want to hear what's on your mind. Here's a magic wand. What can we do for you? Because this is nothing if it's not useful for you. So Tom Varghese, welcome to the call. Tell me about what you're thinking with the hub right now, and where do you see this going?
I think it's a very unique concept. It's an interesting platform that enables a real connection between the suppliers and the agent community. So that's something unique to the industry. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that in the past. Like you mentioned earlier, Pat, Facebook is a medium that you can use, but this is more real time. It's more effective. There's a lot of technology built into the platform that makes it easier for both sides to engage. And the content is just starting to come up. As Tom mentioned, we're only a month old, but it's really starting to evolve.
Well, thanks, Tom. I appreciate it. You've already been a part of some of our programming, which is great. And we look forward to having you host more things as we move forward. A couple other hub stars on the call. Kim Goldstein, welcome to the call. How are you? And what are you thinking about this in general?
Hi, I'm doing great. I am just trying to learn all the different opportunities that are available in here and see how we can best utilize this for not even just our agencies, but for the entire travel community. Now more than ever, we need to rely on each other and be able to access info. And I do like that it's not in Facebook, because every time I go over to Facebook for something business related, I get sidetracked and end up going down a rabbit hole and never come back out. So that part is really good. And I love some of the specific destination info, especially Costa Rica, because that is truly one of my favorites. So I think that's going to be a huge benefit, especially for those newer agents or agents who aren't as familiar with a certain area.
Well, we look forward to your contributions as well. Sandy Anderson, you're on the call as well. Hubstar, tell us what's on your mind as it comes to what we're doing and how we can help suppliers out.
Yeah, thank you. This is a really interesting place to go. When this first happened, it's like, how do I communicate with my team? How can I make my office virtual? How do I keep track of my agents getting the same messaging? And I did go actually through a process of looking at something like this and found it was so expensive for me to do and not sure I'd have to, do all the work to find the content and to find the vendors to participate and do all of that on top of everything. And quite frankly, what we're trying now is, what does this look like on the other side? How are we going to communicate with our vendors and process some sort of business organization? And if we have as an owner to access this, or a manager of an agency, so we can say, hey guys, this is what the video is you want to talk to, but if you don't have time, go back to it. And it's a place of safety that we don't have to worry about, put it, or, because we're not going to be going to events for a while. We're not seeing customers in our offices quite yet. I don't know about other people, but we're doing everything virtual. It's just one more layer that will give us access to vendors, hold events. We have been holding consumer events. I don't know if that's down the pipeline, but we have been doing it. It might be kind of nice to have something like that. It's really, as we grow with our hosting services, gives us an opportunity to keep everybody in touch with us. So, and that's really important right now in a virtual world. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about today. How's that, Pat?
It's perfect. And you touched on something that I think is really important. The hub is, imagine it's an open shopping mall, but you can have groups that are private. You can have events that are private. You can have groups and events that are invitation only. So not everything needs to be for everyone. So if a BDM wanted to host a meeting only with a certain group of people, they could do that, or agency owners with their agents. So we can create communities that expand, contract, have doors, are secret. There's a lot of interesting stuff that we can do there. So
yeah,
thank
and
you.
To add to that, I also think that as a vendor, I think about, there's so much disbursement going on with agents. Where are they? What are they doing? Who's working? Who's going to lead the industry? this is a great place to find them, to be able to find who's around and active. And as it grows, it's a great communication tool for that.
And another thing you touched on that I just think is interesting is that right now we're all dispersed. We can't be in person. We can't have events, and that's a problem. The bigger problem that I see as it relates to suppliers is when things are starting to get back to normal and the starter's pistol goes off, here comes all of this business. And either you're going to have the relationships and the ways to communicate with people, or you're going to be caught short. So having a way to communicate with people and get your information out when the bookings start to come, it's going to be really valuable. So thank you for your contributions.
Yeah, and there is no normal anymore. What we're going to be on the other side is completely different. And we get to frame our way, how we're going to work with our vendors and how they're going to work with us. And this is a great starting point for it.
Good point. Good point. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Sarah Klein, you've been one of our most active Hub stars. So how are you today? And what has your experience been like? And what are you thinking when it comes to how the Hub and our agents can connect with suppliers?
I'm good. Thank you. Just one thing I was thinking of this morning, just trying to find a BDM for a certain hotel chain, is there's so much changing in this industry. Some of our BDMs are gone. Some of our VP sales people, that we're used to go to are gone, are shifted positions. So same thing with a lot of top travel agents. So I think this is going to be a great way when, like I said, that starting gun goes off and we get busy again, is who's still in it? Who are our BDMs and our points of contact? What agents survived and are thriving and still supporting those hotel chains and those tour operators? So I think this is a good way to kind of pull all of this together.
Yeah, and we are organizing it in the manifest as well, which is another thing we haven't even touched on because we haven't launched it yet. We have a data collection and organization project underway where one of the features in the Hub, and I'll show you real quick just because I think it will be unique when it's ready to go. When you go into the Hub, you see our little airplane logo up there, which we love our little airplane logo. Come on, I love it. Anyway, there's a big box here, and that box will be a one-button click to the manifest, and the manifest will be a calendar showing all of the travel industry events and webinars. It'll also be a place where suppliers can drop discounts, deals, agents, incentives, and those sorts of things. And it will also be, eventually, we're working on it, eventually it's going to be a directory where if you're a supplier, you could have all of the contact information that you'd like to supply for all of your people dropped into this place. So if you're Sarah looking for a BDM, she doesn't have to search anymore. She can say, who's my person, and go here and sort by supplier, sort by region, or even hotels, GMs of hotels. We'd love to have those resort names in there as well. So we're investing big time. And to touch on what Sandy was saying, we're investing big time to make sure that we have all of the tools in place so then we can be a reliable place and grow with the industry as a whole. So here's what we didn't want to do. And we're so excited. We could talk for days about this, as you can imagine. But what we didn't want to do is we didn't want to talk the whole time about ourselves. We really want to spend some time now talking about the suppliers that decided to join us today, because we believe that your feedback is going to help us get better, because we have no rules, meaning we're not a consortia. We are not a provider. We are not getting, there's no weirdness here. We are a neutral party here that's trying to get everybody to work together. So there's a lot of opportunity here. And the little bit about me, Tom is the expert travel agent. I spent 20 years in the radio industry, and my job in radio was to solve problems. I was the guy that went to the advertiser and came up with the car giveaway, came up with the billboard campaigns, built radio stations from scratch. So I love hearing, what's the problem you need to be solved? And then how can we solve it? That's my little piece of the Hub puzzle. So I'm excited to do that. And we have to hear from you how we can help you. So you've seen what we have, and we have some terrific suppliers that are on the call, Barb, Galen, Joel, Michelle, James. I would invite you to unmute your microphone if you'd like to share a little bit. And let's start with James, because James, we know a little bit more about you, and you know the Hub the best. So what are you seeing as far as some of the problems the Hub can solve, and how can we make it great for you?
Well, hello everyone. It's great to see familiar faces and new faces. I think overall, and as we were talking, the big question with all things going on, and once this pandemic is done and things start moving, fortunately things are starting moving a little bit better in Costa Rica, is how do we interact, how do we educate our and be in touch with all of the travel agent community. As we were mentioning, Facebook, I think most of us are tired of Facebook and those groups that they're mostly ideological and political fights. And now having a place where we can have reliable information, unique information, exclusive information, also maybe because of what everything is happening to Costa Rica, I think it's a great to reach out and educate, promote, motivate our travel agents so they can start selling Costa Rica.
Thank you for that. And we're looking forward to the leadership inside the group. And I can't wait for the Costa Rica coffee. That's going to be,
Oh yeah,
that's going to be a lot of fun.
For sure.
One thing that we kind of touched on, and you mentioned it here, when something is on Facebook, this is agents only. We don't have to worry about a post on Facebook being shared with the general public and a discount code going live or something. There's a nice firewall between direct communication with agents and the general public, which is one of the things that we actually enjoy. So thank you, James, for your leadership. We appreciate it. Galen Matthews, we'd love to hear from you. So you've had a chance to take a look at what we're doing. What are you thinking, and what are some of the problems that you're facing right now that we might be able to help you with?
Well, thanks, Pat. Well, first of all, thank you, Tom, for the invitation. I feel like I have been dropped onto an island of unlimited opportunity. It is so refreshing, and it's so great to see some of the people I already know, so great company. And this is exactly the type of thing that suppliers, if they're not looking for, they should be looking for, because this is like-minded people who are just looking for ideas to build their business. And as you said, as soon as we are not as fortunate as the Caribbean in that we're not back in service yet, and I know that as soon as we are back in service, you're absolutely right, all hell's going to break loose, right? So people who've got this pent-up demand, which has been brewing for quite some time now, will be ready to travel. And I think once the safety and security protocols are announced, then you're going to get that consumer confidence. So now, you know, my question is, what can I do to make your lives easier? So I love the fact that it's all about connections and it's all about people, because I think that's how you get synced up, and that's how we get things done. So I love the idea of the communities. I really think that has a lot of potential for us. It's a great thing because we go around the world. So while I may not have sorry, Joel, I don't go to Vegas. I'm sorry, I can't help you in that community, but I know, but we'll share. So, but I think it's all about the synergy between both the suppliers and the agents, and we would love to be here for you guys.
So let's talk a little bit about what are some of the things that you're anticipating could get better if you were here? Like we were talking with Sarah about information that she might need. What are some other things that you hope that maybe you can solve by having a presence? Because we want to make sure that we put you in the best possible spot to connect with agents and ultimately get more bookings.
Right. So the agents are the feet on the street, right? I can sit up in the ivory tower and have conversations with Miami all day long. That doesn't do me any good unless I know what I can do to help you guys, right? It's like the Tabasco story that it's a family business and they were about to go under, and they called a meeting for everybody in the company and they said, we need help. And a guy in the back of the room, and I don't know what he did, but he said, make the hole bigger. And they made the hole bigger. People used more Tabasco sauce, and they're a thriving company today because of that idea. So really, it's all about you guys coming to us and saying, you know what, if you were to automate your refund process or your FCC process, or how can we get our commissions up front? Because somebody came to us and said, our biggest priority is getting commissions up front. We developed a program where if you have a booking that's sailing in 2021 at Christmas and you're paying with an FCC and it pays it in full, we will pay you now. So because of that, we were able to come up with a solution. So it's really hearing what your needs are. And I think when you get into these communities and say, you know what, if we need some great shore excursions for whatever island. Then I can communicate with whoever's on from that island, right? And say, well, if we only had this, we could have this. And maybe that solves Tom's problem for the wedding that he wanted to have on the island. Something like that. So
Yeah.
I think it's all about getting the conversation started and being in the right pod, in the right community. And I could see touching several communities. I don't know if that's an option. I don't know how many communities you can be in.
So when you're a member of the hub, you are welcome unless it's a secret community or a private community based by the host. So some of our agents have their own Facebook groups they brought over, so they're private to them. But you can be in as many communities as you would like, and you can follow as many topics as you would like. And if I was a supplier, I would have my BDMs in here dominating this place, listening and watching just for the things that you're talking about. Hey, someone said Royal Caribbean, I better get on that. It's a great opportunity for that. Not to mention inside our software, you can look up folks that specialize by the companies and direct message them through our software. So it's another way you can get pinged if someone needs you.
Sure, and that's what I was thinking. I was thinking if I need an idea or advice, if I need to talk to Tom, I know where I can find Tom.
Oh yeah.
Right? I know he's hanging out in the communities. I know he's hanging out in his own little space. So I think that's great.
Yeah, he's either there or sipping tequila. He's one of those two things.
I want to be where Tom is.
I know, right? Don't we all? Well, thank you for the feedback.
I'm usually doing both, actually.
Yeah, normally that's how our meetings go. He's sipping tequila and we're trying to do business.
That's pretty much how we roll right there.
I think I've landed in the right spot.
That's right. Solving problems with alcohol. Okay, Joel, Vegas, baby. Let's talk about how can the hub help you? What are you looking for from us? Because we want to develop solutions to get people to Sin City.
You bet. Thank you. So I am wearing this shirt not to influence all of you, but I was on 3 webinars today.
Yeah.
Leading those. And that is my question is webinar fatigue. We have tracked every webinar we have done since end of March, April. And the numbers were fantastic back then. But the line has gone like this over the months. And I think all of us can attest to this webinar fatigue is the question, I guess, to Tom and to Kim and Sandy and Sarah is, are you doing a lot of consumer Facebook chats, Facebook presentations? Are you dabbling in that world where a supplier can participate? And how do you make that compelling if you've done them? Is it not generating any inquiries, bookings, leads, etc.? Because one thing that we've tried to do in some of our webinars is we've coordinated where we go live to somebody that's in Las Vegas, a gentleman who owns the Lip Smacking Foodie Tour company, that he's literally on the street, kind of goes down the street just for like a minute or two to try to give something different to be able to watch than slide after slide after slide. So I'm curious if you are kind of engaging on consumer webinars, or what could a supplier do differently to make the webinar fatigue a little less horrible to go through, because we're kind of struggling, right? I mean, I could probably recite my slides, backwards and forwards now, and I'm kind of tired of doing that. But I'm not tired because I love Vegas, believe me. But any insight that you might be able to share that what we can do as a supplier to spice it up?
Well, I have a few ideas, but I want to make sure that you talked about some of the agents that are on the call. Tom or any of the hub stars, feel free to unmute and jump in if you've got some ideas for Joel to spice up a Vegas webinar.
I think,
I'm sorry, I'll let you go. Yeah.
Go ahead, Kim.
Sorry.
I think, yes, there's definitely some webinar fatigue, and I think a lot of times people want something quicker. So maybe some shorter, we'll call them video commercials of sorts, might actually at this point be more entertaining and more eye-catching, because I know at first I think I did watch every webinar out there, and I was like, it kind of got my mind off everything, so it was a good thing. But now I am very selective when I do things. So I think something quicker, shorter, and more, entertaining. I mean, of course, Vegas is like the place to be for entertainment. So that's one thing I feel like I'm lacking, because you don't have concerts or anything like that out there.
That's good. Sandy, what were you going to add?
Yeah, we've done consumer events we did one every Tuesday through the month of August. We had good attendance, a lot of duplicate. We have a great base of customers where we had different vendors. And we had about 30 people come each time. Did we sell anything? We put together a group on AMA Waterways. But really, we decided to pull back from doing that because they just seemed kind of robotic, like you were saying, Joel, and decided that we wanted to do small vendor introductions. So we started this week with, once a week, we're going to have a vendor do a talk about what they're offering and why they should use us. So we're introducing it. So we're using, they're like 1 minute to 2 minutes long, just really quick to try to just keep our customers engaged. And I think the timing might have been a little too early to do consumer events, but people, I've talked to some people who've been very successful on them, but I think that we've all kind of gotten overload on them. I agree with you, Joel. So we are doing something a little bit smaller. Sure.
I'll add a couple things there. 3 things, just a suggestion. Number 1, if you did a series of did you know, like for example, Vegas is known for gambling, but Vegas is also a hotbed for great gourmet cuisine these days, and maybe people just aren't aware of what's out there. So maybe did a segment on did you know that Vegas is the capital of cuisine, and kind of do a whole segment around that and highlight some of your partners. Great way to get some marketing revenue for you as well. So that's one thing you can do, is a series of did you knows. The second thing that one of the hotel partners did recently that actually gained pretty good traction was every Wednesday they would do some funny contests, right? It was the 2 executives out of a hotel, and they were like, who can eat the most jalapenos in an afternoon? But what they would do is highlight the cuisine of the hotel by doing that, right? Or highlight the pools, or highlight a segment of the hotel by mixing in that challenge. But every day, every Wednesday at 5 o'clock, the audience would tune in and kind of look forward to what's going on and who's going to win, and the loser had to do something stupid, right? So that was kind of a cool idea, or a gimmick, if you will, to keep people engaged, but for a longer period of time. The third thing that I would encourage you to do is have our backs, right? So at the end of your spiel, book with a travel agent, right? And at the end of that book with a travel agent is maybe give some incentives or offers that say, hey, for example, this week we're partnering with Wynn Hotels, or we're partnering with MGM, and book with your travel agent to get a free upgrade or a credit towards some food and beverage or something like that, right? The what if, going back to the what ifs, the other thing that I think you can highlight also is experiences. Most people just aren't aware of the multitude of experiences that are in Vegas itself, but also right around Vegas. I mean, short hour drives to 4-hour drives, and people just aren't aware of that. So,
Great.
Off the cuff ideas for you.
Great. Thanks, Tom.
So the one that I would add, Joel, is what's nice about what we're doing right now is we're all distributed all around the country. So I could see you creating a Vegas vacation or a Vegas 3-day weekend where you have, imagine it was one about food, and you had someone standing in every one of your gourmet kitchens. Say it was 5 different kitchens, and you as the host say, all right, it's Vegas vacation. All right, where are you? Oh, I'm in Spago, and look at what they're making. And where are you? And you're doing a Zoom call. It's 90 seconds, and you end with, contact your agent because by Sunday night you can capture this discount. So you're emailing the agent saying, here's the Vegas vacation for this weekend. It focuses on food. Email it to everyone in your database that's tagged as Vegas, so they know they can capture 7% off if they book by Sunday, or whatever the deal might be, or 7% more commission, or whatever your offer is. And you create these little videos that have, like we talked last time, golf, food, pools, gambling, all the stuff that to do, but we just package it in such a way. And with what we're doing here, hey, we're happy to help you film those things and do all the legwork, because I could see a call like this where it's you and 6 different locations dialing into the same Zoom call, and we'll do all the work for you. But then we can connect directly to agents with an agent-centered program. That's the type of stuff that we would love to do, and it might be an easier way to do it. The other thing is, in my real life, when I'm not travel agent hump guy, I'm a small business consultant. And I just on Monday night did an event about making online events more engaging. And the 2 things that they told me were, have a very clear, specific point of view. So it's not join our 45-minute webinar about Vegas. No, join our 13 or 21-minute webinar about this very specific thing, a casino walkthrough, whatever it might be. So that's one thing. The other thing is connections. So have a call for agents where they're going to get to meet their contacts at MGM and they're all on the call, or their contacts at Win and they're all on the call. Like there's a very specific outcome for networking and connection. So those two things are the big drivers that I got out of the research I was doing. And it wasn't travel related, but it was very specific to online event and webinar related.
Yeah, I could add to that. I mean, Vegas has celebrity chefs. You've got the Elvis wedding chapels. You could do theme. You know, you need to theme it. And if you're a foodie, you're going to log into the one with the celebrity chef, or with restaurateurs. If you're into weddings, you're going to look at the wedding chapel stuff. So I think you're going to get a better audience based on what they're into.
And what I'm thinking is, how can we create one thing that's distributed to the agents, and then the agents can take it to the people in their CRM? Because we can give, if we gave Sarah something for all the people in her CRM that love Vegas, it's just another tool, right? And that's what we're looking for, engaging tools to try and intrigue people enough to say, okay, fine, I'm going. October 9th, I'm going, right?
Yep. If I could, sorry, I don't want to take
go ahead.
Time on. I still remember what Sarah said a week or 2 weeks ago on the call is your influence of how many people that you influence of advisor colleagues. We're engaged right now with some of the airlines to bring a social media influencer to Las Vegas, right? That has a ton of followers. And I keep thinking of this is a great organization to be a part of, because there are many of the multi-level marketing companies out there, and I'm not knocking them, but we also know how they can drive you crazy, that they do travel, an eighth of their week, and they don't know like how to actually sell and do all these things. There are some that do, but believe me, I don't need large numbers of webinars by going to those. I want people that can sell, and it's that 80-20 rule. So for us, we're trying to find ways to, like Sarah's point you said is, you have a lot of advisor colleagues that also follow you. We need to create kind of a super social media influencer within this hub that we can the FAMs are so critical, is to bring some of those maybe hub stars to our destination. I know it's selfishly done in Las Vegas, but is to be able to influence because of the amount of followers that you all have that know, gosh, what are you doing in that city? I want to be a part of that. That can trickle to more bookings for other advisors to be successful as well. So
Joel, Kim and I just decided we're going to go to Vegas and we're going to take care of that for you.
Done. Good.
And Joel, to be honest, that's the Hubstar strategy, right? These people are Hubstars because they're leaders in the industry. So we're hoping that would be something we can deliver on. Because as Tom is telling me, and I agree with, agents are the real influencers, right? So that's fantastic. So what else are you facing as far as Vegas is concerned about getting attention or getting bookings that we might be able to solve for you?
Can you convince the governor to allow groups larger than 50 people? So,
yeah, Tom Valdez is on that. Tom, make that call, will you please?
No, I think honestly, it's what we talked about the last time is we have to be more creative in being themed and being very specific and giving reasons to come to the city. Yep. And being very creative with our content to help create a different avenue of someone that's not a gambler. But to your point, Tom, there's a ton to do in the city, and that's what we need to influence our advisors out there. So they know that and can use that to close a booking in a sale.
Well, we appreciate you giving us the information, and that's what we're trying to do, is learn how we can help you. And Michelle is on the call, but she's only on the phone. So Michelle, I'm going to ask you to unmute if you can and jump in if you can, but I know you're just listening in. We'd love to have your feedback if you'd like to jump in, but if you can't, I totally understand. So what we're going to do now is I want to shift, because we've only got a little bit of time left, and I want to make sure that we're respectful with everyone's time. We have some stuff that we're cooking up that I'd like to just share with you as big ideas. And this might not be for everybody. It might not be for you. But these are some things that we're working on that we're pretty excited about. And we are hoping some suppliers would be interested in helping with us. Our first mission is to grow the size of the group. We are trying to get more agents inside the group and more suppliers inside the group. So Danielle is working on getting the communities involved, but we are trying to get our mission out there to bring more agents to the party. So one of the ways that we could get more folks into the hub is to find some partners that are willing to co-promote with us. Doesn't cost any money. It's something we can do together, but we're trying to get more people into the hub. So we're trying to raise our exposure. Another way, and Joel, I'm using you as the example because I took a peek on the pre-registration, is we have this idea about having some vendors, some suppliers create scholarships for some of their best agents. So you know who some of your best agents already are. Affordable, our membership is really affordable. The idea was, could Vegas comp 21 agents a month into the hub? The idea being you're going to welcome people to the party, which would ultimately put you in a leadership position. You don't forget the person that invited you to the party. It's almost making your own people and giving them their influence. Something where we're having some of our large suppliers underwrite some of the membership for their best agents into the hub. And we have discount plans available. It wouldn't be the total rate that everyone would pay. And the hub dog is saying hello, by the way. I'm not sure if you're picking that up. The destination communities are out there for destinations like a Las Vegas destination or a Royal Caribbean group. Those are out there as well. And then the shows. So we're doing shows. We're doing our morning show. We're doing our think tank and all of those. We're doing our postcards on location where we are doing interviews about destinations. And those are all available for you to reserve through Tom. So if you have a big week coming up, like, hey, it's cruise month, or it's the launch of a certain season, or Joel, last time we talked, the day the Circa opens, we should have you on the morning show standing in front of it. Like, we want to make sure that we are capturing big moments inside the destinations. And you can do that by going into our calendar and reserving opportunities to be on the air with us, just like we are right now. And then featured weeks is another thing that we've talked about, where we have come up with the idea of this is Paris week, this is Ireland week, this is whatever it might be. And if there are weeks that are important to you in the 2021 calendar, let us know. And Danielle and Tom, they can reserve those before we get too far. And then last but not least, straight ahead exposure inside the hub, email blasts to our members, and more. So we're trying to be creative, and believe me, that's what I did for a living before I got here. And I know just enough to be dangerous because I don't really know all the rules, so I can break them real easy because, oops, I didn't know. So we just need to know how we can serve you. And that was really the spirit of the call today. So that way we can understand, just like Joel was saying, here's a problem I need to fix. How can we fix it? Tom, what did I forget? And what else would you like to add before we sign off?
Well, I think we covered a lot of great topics, and really a lot of very good thoughts and ideas. And this is what it's all about, because conversations like this, where we all get to share what we need, how we might be able to accomplish it, or what the hub is all about. We don't need 700 people on a webinar. We need 20 smart people having a conversation about business problems, business opportunities, and from that, great ideas are going to come. And as the hub, we're taking the lead, and we're going to put those ideas on those strategies to work. So I think great conversations, more of these to come. We have another think tank scheduled for tomorrow. Think tank with all of our membership, all of our suppliers, to talk about the path to prosperity and really start to flesh out some additional ideas. But as you saw from Pat, we have a lot of great things that we've kind of brainstormed through. Having Danielle join our team and everything that she brings to the party is so huge. And it's going to take a little time, as we start to gain momentum, start to get additional members. But I think we've accomplished a lot in the first month. And if everybody believes in the concept, if everyone believes in the mission, and we can work towards a common goal, I think that's what the hub is all about. So that as we continue on these phone calls, and talk about Joel's particular challenges or Galen's particular challenges, if we can help meet some of those and help do the job, to bring things back, I think we will have more than accomplished our goal. So thank you all so very much for being here.
I'd also like to say a quick thank you to Sandy, Tom, Kim, and Sarah, Hub Stars top flight travel agents that are giving their time to help us and to help the suppliers. So really, thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we know that you're taking time out of your schedule to do it. And we can't wait to feature you with some cool ideas and events. And it sounds like trips to Vegas real soon, which is going to be great. So with that, let's wrap the supplier call and let's consider this the first of many collaborative sessions. We are here for you. We're building something new. We couldn't be more excited, and we just want to keep the lines of communication open. So with that, we'll wrap up, and we'll talk to you next time here on The Hub.